Hi there, I'm Susan, your host of She Connects. Whether you're tuning in from nearby in my state of Minnesota, across the country, or somewhere around the world, I'm so glad that you are here. With so many outlets of information nowadays, I'm committed to adding value to your life and faith by offering content that helps awaken you to your purpose, align you to biblical truth, and activate you in your God-given gifts. You will hear from me and from time to time guests to the show that I know you will also appreciate hearing from. And now, without further ado, let's dive into this week's conversation. Well, hey ladies, how are you? Welcome back to the show. And wow, it is November. I don't know about you, but I feel like I blinked and summer was gone. And I was just talking to somebody, very recently, and just talking about how fast time seems to be rolling along. Really, I feel like I blinked and the year is coming close to an end. Really, we're November. We're kind of seeing the tail end of the year, and wow, where did it go? Do you feel like that? We were joking, this person that I was talking with, we were joking that it seems like the older we get, the faster time goes. I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I don't know. It just seems like, wow. Time is really going quickly, but wow, happy November. I don't know where you tune in from. We have listeners from really, right here in my own backyard, but across the state of Minnesota where I live, and then across the country and all around the world. So, but here in Minnesota, it is officially fall. The first day of fall actually was in October, but it's like the late part of October, for sure, the beginning of November, where we really start to see what we get excited about here in Minnesota: gorgeous fall colors. The trees start to change colors, and oh, they are just stunning. You just see them all, like reds and oranges, yellows, and just kind of that rust color. Oh, it's breathtaking. It's just gorgeous. The fall colors, they line roadways and shorelines. The lake that I walk around every day for my prayer walk. Oh man, the shoreline around that entire lake it's just beautiful. The pictures I take every fall around the lake, they're just breathtaking pictures. Truly, I feel like it is the splendor of God. Who else could give us such vivid, gorgeous colors? And it's amazing to think that as stunning and breathtaking as they are, if they are that, and they give us that kind of just awe and wow, so beautiful, and it just kind of excites us. Can you imagine what's waiting for us in heaven? Think about that. If we think the colors here are so vivid and so beautiful, can you imagine what heaven is going to be like? Wow. I don't know about you, but the older I get, and this isn't being negative or pessimistic or anything like that. It's just like you begin to kind of let go of your attachment to things in this world, and you begin to really fix your eyes more on heaven and just living out the remainder of your days in the presence of the Lord. And so anyway, all of that to say, it is just gorgeous here in Minnesota, but we know that as soon as the temperature starts to dip a little bit more, those leaves will start falling, and then it's fall cleanup. And oh man, our home, we have three very large mature trees. And so there is a lot of gorgeous leaves that fall on the grass. So we have a lot of fall cleanup every year. And I don't know, my husband and I were talking just recently that, kind of not looking forward to that this year. So, oh, but anyway, I digress. So, you seen in the title of this week's episode is See You in 2026. Well, every year, I take a short break from ministry to enjoy the holidays and to just really be fully present. I remember back a few years ago when I wasn't so great about doing that and incorporating that into my life. And I would still, I would accept speaking invitations. I was still doing She Rises one day events, well into the latter part of the year and just doing a lot of ministry related things. And I remember just sitting in our living room, the Christmas tree was up and it was just, those moments where you're sitting in that room, it's just the Christmas lights are on and it's just the stillness and it's just so beautiful. And I remember very clearly sitting there and thinking, I'm so exhausted. I'm exhausted from doing all the things and not being fully present for Christmas and really just taking in the splendor of Christmas. And I think that sometimes the holiday season can be very stressful for people because there's so many wonderful activities to attend. I mean, there's concerts and there's banquets and there's programs and different things that we want to attend, and oftentimes there's more volunteer opportunities because we're trying to reach out to people in our community for the holidays, and all those things are wonderful. But I just remember for me feeling like I need to make some adjustments here. I need to make some changes because I didn't want that level of exhaustion to continue the next year and the year after that. So I made some changes. And, I used to even keep the podcast going, but I'm now including that because here's the thing. So many people, unless you're a podcaster yourself, I know that, obviously, I can't expect, nor can really any podcaster expect people to understand all of the work, all of the preparation that goes on behind the scenes before these episodes are dropped and made available for the listening community. But there is a lot of preparation. And if you know me at all, you've been around me and my ministry at all, you know that I feel very strongly about doing things with excellence, not with perfection, because I'm not perfect. And there will always be opportunities for improvement and to come up higher, in different areas. But I just really believe in doing things with excellence because I believe that that honors the Lord. So I've never been one to just slap something together and, oh, that's going to do this week, or, oh, that'll do for that book or that devotional or this event. This sounds good. I'll just, pull something out of the filing cabinet, blow the dust off of it. And I think I'll just talk on this. I feel like, I don't know, it's just so important to me that I do things with excellence and that I pray over every single thing that I'm putting out there, whether it is on this podcast or in written material or at any event, whether it's something that I'm hosting or I have the opportunity and the honor of being a speaker at. I just really want to steward those opportunities well. And so there is a lot of preparation that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of studying, there's a lot of, looking up verses and praying and seeking the Lord and, and just making sure that carving out that time for myself to be able to concentrate and to study and to pull those things together. And then, if you have a guest on the show, there's a lot of additional prep work that goes into that. And then that's not even factoring in the tech side of things. So if you weren't aware, my husband is the tech person behind everything related to She Rises. So if you've been to any of my conferences, Tim is the one. Of course, there's other people helping him, but he's the main guy. He's the leader in that sound booth, making sure that mics have full batteries and the worship team has their sound checks and everything that they need to lead worship effectively. He makes sure that the speakers have everything that they need. And then with this podcast, he just really believes in himself doing things with excellence. And it's always been interesting to me how I've heard of other podcasters who they release like 30-minute episodes, which is pretty standard. And I've heard them say that their editor, the person who edits the podcast, says that it only takes them 5 or 10 minutes to edit a 30-minute podcast episode. And I've just always, I don't know, I've just always wondered about that. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I don't have to worry about trying to figure that out. I just know that Tim puts a lot of work and energy into editing these podcasts so that it sounds the best, so that you as a listener have the best experience in the audio part of it, so that it sounds good in your ears, because who wants to listen to something that is screeching and, all over the place? So all of that to say, I'm also including setting aside taking a break, a fall and early winter break through the remainder of the year here of 2025 here on the podcast too. And I guess this analogy just seems to be so fitting. I've always felt like such a small fish in an ocean filled with other much larger fish. And what do I mean by that? Well, I feel like there's so many other podcasts out there. I mean, I started this podcast in 2020, so March of 2020. So earlier this year, March of 2025, we celebrated 5 years of podcasting. And wow, it's been great. We've learned a lot of things. There's been a lot of great content here on the show. Each and every episode, whether it's a solo episode given by me or a guest that I've had on the podcast, I've just really been committed to offering value, adding value to your life and helping you to be equipped in your faith as a follower of Christ and in the things that he has called you to do. And it's been great. I've been so blessed to be here, and I'm so honored that really anyone would subscribe and follow along to the podcast, that anyone would tune in and be committed to come back every single Wednesday. A new podcast drops every single Wednesday. And when people leave comments, and then sometimes I even hear back from some of you, you reach out to me in an email or, in other methods. Maybe you catch me somewhere at an event or at church and you share with me what the podcast has meant to you or what that particular episode meant to you. And you just have no idea what that feedback has meant to me. My love language is affirmation. And so it just blesses me. And I think that it's important for people to know that, to be aware of that feedback, positive feedback, and sharing how something is helping another person grow in their faith or encourage them or just helping them to keep keeping on in their life and in their faith is so important, because again, we're human. Podcasters are human, pastors are human, and we need that encouragement too. So thank you so much. And God has been so good to me. He's been so good to me. He's been so good to my ministry, to this podcast. Yes, he's been good to She Rises. He's blessed, and his hand of favor and blessing has been upon anything that he has called me to do in She Rises, under the She Rises ministry umbrella. He's allowed me to be in ministry for, oh goodness, probably 26, 27 years now. And it's just been such an honor. And he's been so good and so faithful to this podcast, to the She Connects podcast, because here's the thing, because of him, She Connects has a global impact. Man, how does that even happen? How does that work? Like, how How did he do that? How does he do that? I don't know how he does it. I am not a tech gal. I don't want to know. It's just, I have other things. My strengths lie in other areas, and I don't have any embarrassment or any like, I should learn more about the tech. No, no, no. That is not my wheelhouse. That is not where God has gifted me. And so I may not understand how he does that, but man, to think about that this podcast that is recorded in a small room in my home with just a modest type setup. It's just me and my husband, again, just a small fish in an ocean filled with other much larger fish, has a global reach. I mean, I'm so grateful that the content of this podcast reaches people in the Middle East, people in South America, people in Europe and in Australia, that it reaches people in Canada, and I mean in Africa. We have listeners, and man, I'm just so honored for this global impact. And it's an honor that women have invited me and this podcast into their lives each and every week. Wow. Such a blessing. And I think there's a message in that right there. And so this really wasn't in my notes. And so maybe somebody listening, you just need this encouragement. Maybe you feel like a small fish in an ocean filled with other large fish, and you just feel like, I'm just little old me in my own little corner of the world, and I'm just, going to work every day, or I'm just raising my kids, or I just lead this Bible study, or I'm just, whatever it is, fill in the blank, whatever your thing is, and you're just feeling, I don't know, I'm just me. Listen, you are having an impact. And God, when you place your gifts, when you give God your one obedient yes, that's all he's looking for. An obedient yes from you and me, and leave the results up to him. Man, the fruit that comes from that obedient yes is incredible. It's so far reaching. And so I just want to say to you, well done. Well done. And thank you. Thank you, woman of God, for doing whatever it is that God has called you to do. However, God is using you, however, he is using you to be a light in your community, in your neighborhood, at your workplace, whatever it is that you are doing. Wow, thank you. Because we need everybody in the body of Christ, and you are a part of that. The gifts lying on the inside of you, they are valuable. They were placed in you for a reason. You have a God-given calling, a God-given potential lying on the inside of you, and he has given you a sphere of influence. And all you have to do is continue every single day to give him your one obedient yes, and leave the results up to him, and he will do the rest. And so I just want to champion you forward in all of the things that God has done in your life, and what he has done through you, through your one obedient yes, what he is doing right now through your one obedient yes, and what he will do yet going forward in the future with your one obedient yes. So all of that to say, I'm officially beginning my holiday break early this year. And here's why. Because if you were not aware, I mentioned this back, I don't know, a few weeks ago, but if you follow me on the socials, you know that I'm writing a book, and I'm just about done with it. I thought that it would have been launched and made available to the world in the early part of the fall. In October was the soft launch goal, but I missed that, obviously, because this is now November as we already established earlier on in this episode. But so I am very behind, just adding final touches, and then very behind in all of the edits that have to take place before it can go to publishing. So I need to work on that because I feel strongly that I need to complete that and put that out into the world. If you're not aware, the title of the book is His Strength, Not Mine, and the subtitle is Moving Forward When Life Feels Hard. A lot of just encouragement of some hard fought lessons that I have learned in this season of my life of being a caregiver, and just other challenges that have come up in this season, and just encouraging readers that whatever your season is, whatever your difficulty that you are facing, whatever the challenge is, the details may not sound like mine, but we've all either experienced something difficult, we've either just came through something, or we're going to be in something at some point. It's inevitable, right? It's just a part of life. And so, but not relying on our own strength, but instead relying on God's strength and the things that He teaches us about surrender and about worship and about following Him and leaning into Him. This book, I feel like, I don't know, not only has this book cost me, of course, because it's been, like I said, some hard fought lessons, but I just also feel like this book may be like the best piece that I have written. And that's really saying a lot because I think this is probably the sixth thing that I've authored and published and made available to the world. So, not that those other five publications don't have any merit, because they do, but I don't know, there's just something tender and yet beautiful, something like, I don't know, just there's something about this book, and I'm so excited for you to read it. And I'm actually thinking about doing a book study, going through this book with any interested women who would want to join me after the first of the year. So that's one thing I'm going to work on here while I'm taking my break. And then Tim's job, he is a director at his job, and so his job gets very busy around the holiday season. And so he is entering what they refer to as peak season, where he will start working, for sure 6 days a week. And there will be a couple of weeks where he works 7 days a week. And so, out of respect to him, I don't want to have him, work 12, 13-hour days and then have to think about having to edit the podcast. So there's that. And then, as I mentioned just really briefly, I am a caregiver for my dad, and it's been a lot here. So with his diagnosis and just all the things that are related to that. And he has quite a few appointments coming up here in the next couple of months. And so that's going to be taking some time for me. And I will actually be living out of a suitcase for a little while I'm staying in close proximity to my parents with those appointments. So all of those things combined, I just really felt like I needed to officially begin my holiday break a little earlier. So you can still continue to connect with me and follow me on social media. You can follow me and connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Susan Vanden Heuvel. And I would love to connect with you. I'm not on there every day because of everything that I just mentioned, but I will say that messaging me in Facebook Messenger or direct messaging me on Instagram is not the best place to reach out to me. The best place to reach me is via email, and you can contact me through my website. You can send me an email very quickly that way, and you can click on my website. It's sherisesmn.org, and that link is in the show notes. So you can very easily reach out to me. It's very simple to find me that way. And you will get a much faster response to me that way. So I encourage you to do that, because sadly, I have missed a lot of messages in those other places on Messenger or direct messenger on Instagram because I just don't get over there. I just don't. I don't have the time to get over there. And so unfortunately messages have gotten missed and have sat for weeks. And at the height of my dad's diagnosis and being in the hospital, some of those messages actually sat there unread for months. So I don't want that to be the case. I don't want that to be your experience in trying to reach out to me. So click the link in the show notes. You can contact me through that way. And I look forward to hearing from you. I would love to hear from you, but stay tuned to hear what's coming up in 2026, including, like I said, the release of my new book. And I'm praying about some online courses, and maybe even an additional study in the online space. I've missed doing those, and this year just has not allowed me to be able to do that, but it is something that I do in the past, including even last year. I did quite a few of those, and I get a lot of positive feedback, and many of you have actually, and it's been such a blessing to me. So thank you. You are never bothering me or making me feel bad when you ask me, hey, are you going to have a conference coming up? Or when are you going to do another study? Or are you going to do another course? Or I miss doing these. I love hearing that kind of thing. And so thank you if you've been one of those people who have reached out and inquired about any of those or all of those, because it just excites me. I love hearing from you. And so I am praying about offering those things after the first of the year. And I am praying about what those things would be. So like what the topic would be. I have a couple of things on my heart that I'm praying about, but I just want to invite God into that because I want to follow his lead. I don't want to come up with a plan and hope that he follows it, right? So anyway, hey, thank you for tuning in this week. I love you. Thank you for just all of your encouragement. Thank you for your support and your understanding in this very unusual and very challenging season that I have been in my own personal life. Thank you for, thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your understanding. It has really just meant more to me than I could ever express. So thank you. But enjoy the season. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. And you know what? We'll meet right back here in 2026. Thank you for joining the conversation this week. I hope you'll join us again next week. And if you're new here, a big welcome to you. I humbly encourage you to follow and to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. A new episode is available each and every Wednesday. It's free to subscribe. It's free to follow. I won't bother you with any annoying emails. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Susan Vandenheuvel to be encouraged throughout the week and updated on future ministry events.